I think a lot of people have a challenge growing in any area due to a lack of attention to details. The definition of the word excellence is paying attention to details. For example, how many of you have heard this phrase? The devil is into the details. Now, I've heard that numerous times over the course of my life. Over and over, people would say, the devil's into the details, the devil's into the details, the devil's into the details. Well, I have an exercise I want to perform with you guys, or I want to do with y'all. What do you think, or what do you believe is the reason for the devil being into the details? Now, I'm going to give you my reason, but I'm going to give it to you at the end of the video. So stay tuned. All right, so what we're talking about today is being into the details. Now, the actual title of today's video is, first I labeled it Favor the Details, but now the title of the video is Why Details Matter More Than You Think. Why details matter more than you think. Why is that? Because we tend to think that things just happen. Most people just tend to think things happen in a sense like children. When children think that foods just show up in the refrigerator, children tend to think that their lights just come on, that the clothes are just automatically in the closet, right? Now, obviously at that age, at those particular age, if they are literally children or adolescents or babies, infants, whatever, they're not supposed to know the details of life, of adult life, or even teenage life. Some of the things that teenagers even learn. No, that's not their assignment yet. But as they get older, mom and dad, guardian would teach them what those things are. Well, if you want to advance in life and advance in business, I know that was one of my weaknesses, and in some areas still is. Now, when I talk about being into the details, I'm not saying you have to be know every single detail or every single piece of information about any given subject, about any given business opportunity you're involved in, or whatever. You have to be God in order for that to happen, right? So no, what we have to do is focus on the things that we're into, the business ventures, reading books. When I talk about following right instructions, make sure you have enough information when you talk to someone and they assign you to do something, or somebody hires you to do something, or you're going to take an order. Make sure you have enough information or get enough details in order to succeed at that particular task. That's all this is about. Now, none of this is rocket science. It's just an unfavorable thing for many people because taking time to go through the details is for some people very inconvenient. Now, yes, do you have some people who are impatient? Either it could be you or it could be somebody else that you're working with or for. But generally speaking, all of us should have a certain level of interest into being detail oriented if we're going to be successful or excellent at the work that we're doing. Okay. So most people want big results, and this is an overlooked truth. Most people want big results, big success, big opportunities, and big outcomes. But they overlook this one thing. And yes, you guessed it. It's the details. So again, I said I was going to favor the details. Actually, I could use that. We'll see. It might be in the title somewhere. But anyway, favor the details, or why details matter more than you think. And remember, we have an exercise coming up. If you just tune in, we have an exercise I'm going to address or share my thoughts on at the end of this video. Why do you think, and this is the exercise, I want to know in the comments why you think or believe the devil is into the details. So details are the small things most people ignore. It's the extra effort, the extra check, the extra level of care. But they don't seem big. They don't seem big, but they do matter. There's a lot of things you don't give a care about concerning your vehicle. A lot of details you don't care about concerning your vehicle if you're taking your car in to get an oil change or some other type of repair, especially for most women. Some guys, they understand, I don't understand all that because I didn't care. when I was growing up, and I still don't care a whole lot right now. But I get that there's more pieces to the puzzle, so to speak, when you clean, when you are fixing on the car, when you're repairing the car, right? Now, of course, in today's world, they've made vehicles so difficult to get in and under there. Get into when you talk about repairing it yourself, when you're trying to do your what do you call it, DIY, DIY, do it yourself project. They've made it more difficult. The auto industry have made it more difficult for do-it-yourselfers. But generally speaking, a lot of guys know about the different parts, sizes, and tools that is necessary to fix a certain problem, right, on a vehicle. Most women, and I say most because some women do, most women don't. And so those details people don't care about. However, this is where that benefits you. If you have someone in your life who understands those details, so you won't get ripped price-wise or have an auto mechanic lie to you, because there are some out there who would do it. And that happens in any industry. So I'm not picking on the auto industry. What I'm saying is, it's helpful if you know, or somebody you do know, you trust, know more about the vehicle, or some clothes, or business idea, how to create different systems or whatever, which I'm learning about, to write a book, whatever it may be. That's the thing. This video applies to anything going on out there. So they may not seem big to you, but they matter. Relationships. If you don't practice telling the whole truth, is when I say the whole truth, giving all the necessary information at a certain given time, over a period of time, or over a certain period, if you don't give the accurate information, give enough details, whether it's asked for, and at times you should volunteer to be open, honest, and transparent, that could dissolve the relationship. It could cause problems and dissolve the relationship. But the more detail-oriented you can be, the more focused you're on not trying to even seeming like you hiding something, the better the relationship will be, and even more so, it might increase the longevity of the relationship as well. You just never know. So why take a chance on not being detail oriented? So why do details matter? They matter. Details do three things. One, they prevent mistakes. Just as I just mentioned. And sometimes I get ahead of myself, even though I have my notes here, I get ahead of myself a little bit. But they prevent mistakes. They can prevent mistakes. Number two, they improve quality. You know, the name of my coaching system, for example, it's called FTRIA, the FTRIA system. Follow the right instructions always. You know what that means? Get as much detail as possible. Make sure you understand it or can comprehend it, then apply what you learned. That's what that simply means. Because a lot of us, we follow instructions, but we don't always follow the right instructions. But then there are times when you're following the right instructions, but you don't have enough of information to go that actually goes with those right instructions. And number three, they build trust, such as in personal relationships. But this also happens in this, giving the right enough information also improves business relationships, professional relationships, team related, if you will, team related relationships, something to that effect. That's what this helps. Some people don't want to be trusted. Some people want to abuse trust because of their greed, their selfishness, or they're simply evil. But most people, or many people, don't. All of us want to be trusted at some capacity. So you know what that means? That means we should then look into becoming trustworthy. How? Being as detail-oriented as possible. Learning to ask the right questions so we have enough information so we can be successful at whatever it is we're supposed to be doing. People trust those who pay attention. Your boss wants to know, or at least wants the security, wants the certainty, wants the confidence that they can trust you. They don't have to follow up on your work. They respect. They want to give you the opportunity. You have some people who want to be micromanagers, and a lot of us don't like that. I get that. I don't either. But some people need micromanaging because you're undisciplined. And so we have to, it's an option. We have to do some self-introspection. Am I good enough in this area? Why or why not? Can I improve? None of us are perfect, so it's a possibility you might need to improve in that area. And also, let me add this. This was not a part of my notes, but don't focus so much on your weaknesses, because what you focus on, you attract. I didn't say don't improve. I said don't focus on weaknesses. Focus on strengths. Improve your strengths. Focus on acquiring new skill sets and improving yourself, your character. Focus on your work ethic, how to improve that. But don't focus on the negative side. Point them out, address them, the shortcomings. For example, if you do not like being into the details, why is that? Take too long. Well, if you want to do the right thing, either hire somebody to focus on it for you, or until you get to that level, go ahead and make sure you focus on that as much as possible. Take solutions. Focus on solution-oriented opportunities. Now, what do details do for you also? For the person? Excuse me. It reveals discipline. It reveals how you handle small things, which reveals how you'll handle big things. If you ignore details, you limit your potential. I know what that's like, y'all. I've done it on my jobs. At times, I've done it in some of my relationships. When I was learning music, playing the bass guitar, the electric bass guitar, I wanted to get to the big results because I'm a big picture thinker. But I had to learn, and I'm still learning, but I had to learn how to scale down a bit and say, okay, let me take a snapshot of this and start focusing on the fundamentals, the fine details, the fine print, whatever term in that you want to use. It still comes right back down to the basic fundamentals. If you want success over the long term, if you want success, you don't have to come back and redo over and over and over again. This is one of the most important steps that causes people to be successful. Either they focus on this this particular task or this particular they're going to focus on something. Successful people, business people, coaches, parents, relationships, whatever. They focus on certain principles that they're strong at. They become detail oriented in that, and when they get to a certain place, they either delegate it out or hire someone and delegate it out. When I say delegate it out, you might have somebody that you can do that for. Okay, so let us focus on being detail oriented as much as possible. Listen, excellence is built in the details. Excellence, which is attention to detail, is built in the details. If you want to be average, keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to be above average, start focusing on the things that most people won't. Why do people ignore details? Because people overlook details because they feel small. They take extra time. They don't get noticed right away. That's why people overlook details. Let me say it again. They feel small. What? The details feel small. It's not a big deal. It's like sweeping dust under a rug. If you do that enough times, what happens? They take extra time. As I shared with y'all earlier. Again, sometimes I get ahead of my notes. They take extra time that you don't think you have, only to be forced into it later. And it ends up taking even more time. And thirdly, they don't get noticed right away. It's the small things. They don't get noticed right away. But those little things can lead, if left unattended or not paid attention to, can lead to big problems. But what is unseen often determines what is seen later. Nothing that stays secrets, y'all. Be careful. There's some things going on underneath the cover that's not all that good, that you say nobody knows about, or that not enough people or the right person doesn't know about. Be careful. I'm not going to get caught up on that. That's a whole nother tangent I can go on. I'm just saying this video applies to various different subjects and topics. All right. Now, this is how you favor the details. Here's how you shift. Slow down enough to notice. If you start practicing, slow down to notice some things. You're going to catch those little things that you normally miss, and most people will continue to miss. Care about, number 2, care about quality, not completion, not just completion. Now, I used to have a big problem with that because when I think of the way my notes framed it, it says care about the quality. I didn't like progress. I didn't like the process because the process, excuse me, not progress. I love progress, but not process. I didn't like process because the time that's what it means. And so process means you got to go through this period of time before things that you want to come to pass manifest. I ain't like it. I want to get from point A to point B. But there is a process most of the time. Even if it's a minute, there's a process. And so I had to, what's good is, because once you get to your desired outcome, then what? Then what? So, care about the quality. Care about the process, not just the completion or the outcome. Learn, you are growing through that. Take advantage of learning that. Pay attention to those details that you are actually growing into a better person. You are acquiring new knowledge. You're acquiring new skill sets. Pay attention to that. Embrace that. Value that. Consistency in the small things creates strength in the big things. Consistency in the small things creates strength in the big things. Have y'all ever noticed how often, like when you're watching sports, you have some people like LeBron James, who's been playing basketball for professionally for over 20 years. I think he's going into his 21st year. And so 21 years in basketball, and he still practices, still rehearses, still improving in certain areas, making adjustments. Can't jump as high as he used to, can't run as fast as he used to, make adjustments. Still practicing though, still paying attention to the details. Or Tom Brady when he was playing, still was one of the best quarterbacks when he retired. I mean, obviously you saw some things drop off, but I think he played somewhere around, around 20 years, somewhere in the sport of basketball, football. He's played a long time and was at the top of his game for a long time. And won 7 championships, 7 Super Bowls? Why? They paid attention to the details. Tiger Woods, at the height of his day, paid attention to the details. It's a lot of guys, a lot of ladies and guys you can put in here. But this goes across the board for anyone who especially has a winning track record. They pay attention for whatever they're focusing on. They pay attention to the little things that for most people take too much time, which is why most people don't win or win as well as they could. So, if you want better results, don't just aim higher. Look closer, pay attention, and favor the details. Because winning is right around the corner, but your growth and development is too. And if you do the right things at the right time, consistently paying attention to the little things, big success, big results, big outcomes, they are inevitable. You don't have to force those out. They come out naturally, or some people might call it organically. I hope y'all were blessed by that. And by the way, I have not forgotten. I know y'all was going to try to catch me, but I have not forgotten. I said at the top of the video that I would share with you why I think that the devil is into the details. So what did y'all put in the comments? I don't know yet. I'm going to have to check it out later. But my personal conviction on why the devil is into the details is this. Just like God created you and created me, he created the being now known as the devil. He created him too. He was known as Lucifer. Again, this is not a preaching video. I believe he learned to be into the details because his creator was into the details, is into the details. So all he's doing in that sense is copying God. He's going to be into the details. He understands that every little decision, every little move, every decision, every single thing matters. Now, is he as good as God? Nope. Because God is everywhere. So that is my personal conviction, my personal belief as to why the devil is into the details. Be blessed, and remember to maximize the moment.